Manchester United have submitted their third bid for Bryan Mbeumo, 65 million plus 5 in add-ons. There is a hope, there is a sense the deal will now complete. We know what a fantastic player he is. It's taken many, many weeks to get to this point, but we're taking your calls. We want to go through your opinions on this deal as Man United get ever closer to completing their second major transfer of the summer. Give us your thoughts, give us your feelings, give us your opinions now in the comments section below. I want to hear from you all, want all your opinions. Thank you to everyone who's joined us over from the United stand as well. It means a great deal that you're all here. We're going to share the link in the chat in a moment, but of course, get like buttons hit. Make sure you're subscribing. Get the bell notification turned on as well. It's very important that you do that so you know that, when we go live, when we're pushing out the content as well. But look, there's a few things for me to break down today. There's a few things for me to talk about today. There's a few elements that are on my mind that I need to delve into, that we need to go through here. And the first thing is, I think it turns out a lot of us probably owe Fabrizio a little bit of an apology here. Turns out that 70 million was in and around that asking price all along. The 50 millions, the 55 millions, the 60 millions that were being quoted were some way short of that. Why did Manchester United put in such low bids to begin with? We're going to talk about all of that on the show. We are going to get into it. The 7 weeks it took to negotiate. I know many United fans are fuming about that. I'm not best pleased myself, to tell you the truth, but we're going to delve into all of that on the show today. And as Baz says here, Fab has still got it. But look, I said it all along. I believed in, it wasn't just him, Sky Sports. I know that Ben Jacobs tweeted something about 50 million, but I heard him on video say 70 million. Fabrizio says 70 million. And there were a few other journalists as well that I listened to on radio. That 70 million mark came up on a number of occasions, which always stood out to me individually. Were United right to try and negotiate the price down? Absolutely. I don't think it's wrong that we're putting low ball bids. The element that needs to be challenged and looked at is, why did it take so long? What was the reason for that? But we're going to delve into all of that. Of course, we haven't had the okay yet that this will complete. Everybody is waiting for that to come through. But surely now, at 65 million plus 5, for me, we're above valuation. I think we're above the valuation of the player. So from a financial, profile-wise, which is the most important, I think we're getting a stellar player. I think we're getting an absolutely brilliant football player that will help to elevate Man United. Fast, strong, available, great technique, scores goals, creates goals, can press, can defend, can play multiple positions. I have not a bad word to say about Bryan Mbeumo. He wants Man United as well. You've seen the rejections this summer. Gyökeres, the Lap, Ekitike. It's painful to take. This man wants to be a Man United player, and I think that is key. I think that is important, and that is something that I won't yield from. The player profile is excellent for Manchester United, 1,000%. In terms of the deal and how much we're paying, it's too much money for me. So I'm going to score the player profile out of 10. I'm going to give it a 7.5, 8 out of 10. I think he's a fantastic player. In terms of the final deal, the price we're paying, I'm giving it a 5.5. Yes, it's under the 70 million pound mark, but with add-ons included, we're matching it. It's only 5 million pounds. And even then, I still think we're paying above our own valuation. So I factor that in. It's not a brilliant deal from a financial standpoint. It eats into our budget. And 3, the timing. Look, everybody knows I was very clear about this all summer, very consistent about this all summer, and I'll hold myself to account. I wanted 3 new faces in by the end of the first week of July, the end of the first week of preseason training, and we had 1. So on a timing level, it taking 6 to 7 weeks to get here is unacceptable. I called this out 4 weeks ago on the United stand and said I would slam it. When we went past the deadline, I called it out. In fact, I was 2 or 3 days early, but I called it out. And my mind hasn't changed today. I may have been less frustrated about the 7 weeks had we got the deal in at 58 million, had we got the deal in under our valuation, had we included add-ons, save 10, 15, 20 million pounds from what Brentford wanted. So if the price element had been an 8.5, 9 out of 10, then the timing would have bothered me less. But timing-wise, he's getting a 2. So overall, player profile-wise and improving our team, excellent. But for what I think has been one of the biggest hindrances, one of the biggest problems at Man United of overpaying and taking too long to negotiate, not getting the deals to the level we want, if at all, but quick enough, nowhere near best in class. Ineos must be criticised. We must do better moving forward because it is unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Not the practice of bidding low. Anyone moaning about that, I think you don't understand business. Everybody bids low. Newcastle, how many bids do they get rejected for Alanga and Ekitike and everybody else? Arsenal have bids rejected. Liverpool, literally on Ekitike, their first bid got rejected. They're going back in again. It's normal to have bids rejected. But if you're going to take the time the way Man United did, you've got to come out on top. You've got to come out on the A side. The only objective part in this is, did we make it difficult? Do Brentford leave thinking that was a lot harder than we thought? If so, you may, over the course of time, yield some benefit from that. But I can't reiterate enough. I cannot state enough how fundamentally important it is for Man United to become better negotiators, get players at a better price. Otherwise, we are always going to end up running out of money. So that element, people should be criticizing it. We should be putting pressure on the club to improve. In terms of the player, 110%. 110%, a fantastic player, an individual that will improve Manchester United, in my personal opinion. This year, Jay Bruce says 20 Premier League goals, not worth 65 plus 5 to you. Also, prime age. Look, some people may disagree with me. Some people may disagree with me. Some people may say he's worth that amount of money. And by the way, if he scores 20 league goals for us next season, 20 league goals the year after, we may come back and revisit this and I'll say I'm wrong. I'm always open-minded to being wrong. Although I have my own subjectivity, I have my own personal feelings towards things, I will see the other side. And listen, Jay Brew, I hope you are right. I hope we look back at this in 2 or 3 years' time and go, what wonderful value for money it was. I really do hope that's true. Never going to get Domino's again after that tweet. Yeah, I ain't ordering them either. No, they can go screw themselves. This is from, by the way, YouTube, please sort out these fucking usernames. This here says, let's go, great signing. I'm really happy with the player. And that's the one thing I'm not going to allow the negotiations to get in the way of. I'm not going to allow all that bad stuff, which I've called out and criticized, to get in the way of signing a very, very good player, because that's what rivals want. And in fact, let's talk about the player. We're going to share the link in the live chat if you guys want to phone in, if you want to have your say, because I'm sure United fans are going to want to speak about this. We've only been waiting 40-odd days. We've only been waiting 40-odd days, maybe even more than that now, to be honest with you. I lost count to actually talk about this deal. It isn't quite over the line yet. We have to be very, very clear about that. Many people think it will be a done deal. Many people think it will get over the line. It will complete. But let's wait and see on that one. I don't want to get ahead of myself. If they come back in a minute and say that's rejected, I might cry. The player is the right profile. That's the most important thing. But the price, negotiations, and duration of the transfer is disgusting. Amateurs. You're right to call it out, Jimmy. You're right to call it out. And look, I said all the time I want to remain patient. And my remaining patience, I stand on it. I don't need to cry every day. I don't need to lose my mind. And losing your mind led to a lot of Man United fans pushing a lot of false news. Like, it's only going to be 60. We only have to bid 60. We ended up getting so angry that we lost sight of the truth. And it's very important to not do that as and when you can. But absolutely, the negotiation should be called out. No, it can't be getting defended for me. That side, we need to put pressure on them. The deal in itself, the player, brilliant. He's worth the 70 million, mate. 20 Premier League goals. Listen, Sully, I hope so. I hope he is. I'm only being true to what I said originally. I'm not going back on my word. I felt 60 million was tops. Having said that, and again, Staffy's going to get so angry when I do this because he doesn't understand what objectivity means. Sorry, Staffy. But if it's 55 million for Alanga, you're talking about Ekitike. I know he's a striker, so they're typically more expensive, costing 80 plus million. never got an international cap, never played in the Prem or La Liga. I do see where people are saying he's worth 65 plus 5. I do see that. He's better than Kudos, who's 55 million. He's better than Alanga, that's 55 million. He's better than Madueke, that's 50 plus million. He's much better than those players, or has been thus far. Whether he works in our system is another conversation. So that I agree with. You know, on an objective level, I totally get it. And I hope you guys are right. And I hope that I am wrong and that my feelings on this change. Objectivity can be very subjective. Well, subjectivity can become objective. How do you think an objective view can become subjective? Explain that. Subjectivity can make you a little bit more objective about things with enough examples and enough data. We've explained that in football when it comes to like VAR. You have enough red card tackles that obviously are subjective. You have enough examples of what constitutes a red and what doesn't. You can make more objective decisions. Like something can become more objective from subjectivity. How does it work the other way? I'd love to know. I'd love to know. We paid less for Mbeumo than we did for Højlund. So on that basis, it's a good deal. That's a fair point. That in itself is a fair point. He was cheaper. He is, well, we haven't got the deal done yet, so we'll see what it ends up coming out as. But if we get the deal for this price, then absolutely. It's a better deal than Højlund. Yes, we can all agree. Grealish was 100 million and he's shocking. Yeah, it was overpaid. Yep. Get Mbeumo and Watkins and top 8 looks likely. I agree, Maradon. We're getting the top 8 with those deals. Fab ruins it for me. Constant same updates day after day. I hear you. I just disagree. I don't personally. Do you know what I think people should do that don't like it? Just unfollow and mute Fabrizio and he won't ruin it for you. How about that? I do say a lot of people follow him and then get annoyed about him. It's like he does what he does. I'm cool with it because it's Fabs. You know what I mean? I hear you. I don't even know him personally, but I'm kind of cool with it if I'm being honest with you. But I do get why people find it frustrating. Did I miss some super chats? I did. Here's one. Always made sense to be difficult to negotiate with. Takes time to establish that reputation. Man United just lost leverage with Wissa and Newcastle rumours. Yep, there's an element of that. I think we did lose a bit of leverage today, and that's something that I said was a risk all along. You know, that it's okay to hold on for the right deal, but a circumstance can change. A player's head might be turned, or in this case, Wissa, and then suddenly you have to fold. And we ended up not winning. So we could have probably bid this 3 weeks ago. The fans would have been a little bit happier, which would be nice. And we didn't win. We didn't win. What I do agree with is, or hope that comes true more than agree with, is if we're difficult in every situation, we're hard to work with, we push back. And sometimes we might go through pain like this last 7 weeks. The hope is in 2 to 3 years' time, we look back and see a club that's respected in those negotiation rooms, that's respected, that's seen as hard to deal with, that really does get good deals done. I hope that's the case. And if you're a Man United fan and you're not hoping for that, I don't think you support the football club. Are you going to do a Man United scary video now? DB, bruv. D to the B. Dead banter. Does this confirm Ahmad a right wing back? I'm good with that. I think some games, yes. Other games, no. It's going to be a mixture of the two things. It's going to be a mixture of the two things as and when he comes in, that's for sure. There's some games where Mbeumo will be on the bench and Ahmad will be out there. There'll be other times. Listen, I wouldn't even be surprised if there's some games in some moments where Mbeumo's the right wing back. And hear me out on this. I'm not talking on a regs. I'm talking 1-0 down. Got to score a goal. Ahmad's already on the pitch. You're bringing in Mbeumo on. You might say, let's get the lap off. Let's get the low off. Let's put Mbeumo on. But we might want Mbeumo hugging that touchline so he goes into a wing back position, right? And we want Ahmad because of his intricacy in the center. I like the versatility it gives us. So many options. That won't happen regularly, by the way. But this just gives us so much versatility in how we play. I like it. I really do like it a lot. Thank you, by the way, Harry Sinclair, for becoming an official member of the Football Terrace. And also Con Conroy as well for becoming an official member of the channel. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please get that done. Make sure you've subscribed to the channel and also the bell notifications. A lot of you have done it already, so thank you. But get that bell notification hit and make sure you are subscribing. We're going to go to your calls now. KJ is joining me first, but we're going to be getting a number of people on this show over the next little while. I'm not even putting a time limit on it right now. We've got Aiden coming on. We've got Baz. We've got Kane. We've got Enrique. We've got loads of people backstage. We're going to be trying. There's more of you as well. Not read all your names. I'm very sorry. We're going to bring some more of you on. But the breaking news, in case you have just joined us, is that Man United have submitted a third and hopefully final bid. There is optimism, according to sources, that the deal will be done. 65 million plus £5 million, so 70 million in totality. Hopefully the third and final bid to see that deal agreed, the done deal, leading to a completed deal, because United do now need to get a wiggle on in this transfer window. We really, really do. KJ is here with me now. We're taking more calls as well. Bruv, talk to me.
Finally, Man United do the thing that we all have been saying for the last 3 weeks to do, which is just get the bid in. Just get the bid in at least, make your final bid. And then if Man United do that and it gets rejected, and we did that weeks ago, and we walked away, no one would be mad. So the time that we've taken from the second bid to this bid now, that is what people are upset about. More than necessarily, I think, maybe the fee or necessarily trying to negotiate, is that we've taken so long to do that, that now whatever happens, people are going to be unhappy. I'm happy with the signing. I think he's an excellent player. I think he'd be brilliant for us. Bring some much needed pace, power, and efficiency to our front line, which we've been lacking for like 2 seasons. So yeah, it's just the price. Now, I said I would have wanted to get Mbeumo for max 65 million all in. So that was including add-ons as well. So the fact that we're going over it a bit, obviously I'm not happy with the price. I think we could have maybe invested it elsewhere if we're going to go that high. But we've got a player we need. So am I really going to complain about the price being 5 million over if we've got what we need? Plus, it's a player that we'd like. Plus, if in a season's time, when the season's done, he's scored 15 Premier League goals, got 10 assists, and he's one of our best players, am I going to be talking about the 70 million? No, because it would have been worth it. So yeah, the price isn't what I would wanted, but the player is someone that I really like, someone I really enjoy. And I want to know what was the reasons for the long negotiations, because if it was because we were trying to get favorable payment terms, so that maybe we're paying it across 5 years, maybe there's not a massive upfront fee, so we've got some cash left over to start investing in the summer. And then the add-on, the 5 million add-on, is something that's not really easy to do. Maybe it's a team add-on, maybe it's a trophy add-on or something. Then I can understand. I don't like it. I won't like it, but I can understand. But if it is literally just about the price, then Man United and Ineos would have been repeating the same mistakes.
Can I throw this out though? The only issue with your question, and this isn't me actually challenging it, I'm talking about general, is if it comes out, United got really good structure, it's really low payment terms, it's really good what they did. The only issue with that is it's just going to get called PR. The same as every time it was mentioned that 70 million was the actual asking price. Lies. It turns out they weren't lies. And I think that we need to be open-minded to that. What I will just say, some new information has just been posted. This has come out that Man United's third offer is worth what we know. It's expected to be accepted. No decision yet, but the new bid matches Brentford's demands. What Ben Jacobs has also said is that Man United consider this bid as final. So should this bid not be accepted, there is the possibility, according to Ben Jacobs, that Man United would walk away. So look, it'll be interesting to see how that actually plays out in reality. But it is what's been said. If that makes it's what's been said, it's what's been put out there. So we'll see what happens from this point. So if we're bidding what Brentford want, I don't see why it wouldn't be accepted. But yeah.
Yeah, I think Brentford is trying to mess with us one last time, personally. Maybe because it's taken so long to get to this point, they want to make us sweat a little bit. If Man United are doing the right thing right now in terms of you've put your third bid in, and that's it. If we've met your valuation, if they've been crying about the whole, we want the same fee as Cunha guaranteed and a little bit more, well, we're giving you 2.5 more guaranteed. So you got that. We want closer to the 70 million. We want to make it look like we've won the transfer window. We're getting a bigger fee than Cunha. We've done that. You got a 70 million total package. If they've been crying about that all summer and then say no to this, then I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. Man United, leave.
Well, this is also
that door.
This is also it, right? And I think this is what's really, really important to I think put out there. If, for instance, we put this bid in now, and this bid was considered to be, if this bid was considered to be final by us, but what they want, and then they try and up the price again, that would also explain why it's taken 7 weeks. So again, then I can understand the negotiations and why United are frustrated. My only real frustration then would be should have walked away sooner. If they kept on saying, because then we go into a new realm. Oh, maybe the reports were right. They did only want 50 to 60 million. United offered it. Now we want more. Okay, we've upped it again. Now we want more. Okay, we've upped it. There comes a point where you've got to stop increasing your bid again as you lose credibility in the window. So let's see what, by and large, let's see what happens with that moving forward. This year says, keep in mind, people, bids don't typically get accepted outright. If it's close to what Brentford wants, they will discuss the finer details. That is true, Mish, but what I would say is this, again, and I don't want to try and make this sound even more negative than some people are making it. If, for instance, though, we've been spending this amount of time negotiating and everything else, the bid should already include add-ons and structures in the way in which that they want. I would like to see accepted medical player through the door in the space of 48 hours with how much time was spent. When a deal goes quickly, comes out of nowhere, you expect from the bid being accepted or principally accepted to the here we go or to the club announcement to maybe take a few weeks, because you might have to iron out those details. If we've spent 7 weeks negotiating this and we haven't yet ironed out the details, fuck me. That's worse than taking 7 weeks to negotiate it.
No, on 100%. If it turns out that we have to go through another round of finding out the finer details, I might go bold. At 29.
Mate, if you go bald and grow a little bit of a beard, you could just pretend to be in Mbeumo.
Yes,
you could, bruv.
I'll just go down the pitch.
You actually play quite a lot like him. You're very similar stylistically at football as well, bruv. So
why is he so fat? It's just he's Cameroon, bruv, eating fufu.
I hear. Right, let's take some calls. Baz is joining us first. What are you saying, Baz?
Hey guys, yeah. I mean, I'm let's just see it get done first. But yeah, man, I think that it's a tough one. I want to see the terms of how all this turned out a little bit more. That comes out from journalists to see what the details are. But I have to agree with Mark Goldbridge on this, man. Like if they planned this window the way they said they did, this would have turned. I don't believe we spend 7 to 8 weeks on this deal. Like, if I was planning this window out, I would have tried to get the Mbeumo deal done first, then get the Cunha deal done because it's a release clause. Why would you set the precedent and let other deals get done in the window to get to kind of give Brentford that, that reassurance that they are right and asking for more money? If I'm trying to buy a house in a market that's really crazy, you don't want time, because time makes your deal worse, right? Because if someone's buying a house next down the street and they spend $20,000 more than you, then and you haven't sealed the deal up, they're going to ask for more money, right? So I mean, at the end of the day, like I do question the way the claim that we've been planning this window out, because I don't think they have, man. I think that if they planned this window out the way say they would have, they say the way they said they would have had a lot of these pre-negotiations done in the spring, and they would have figured things out a bit better.
I think I get where you're coming from, but I think that would hold more. That would be more of a point in terms of like it being true if Mbeumo and Cunha was always the number ones. I think what that happens is when Omar Barada came out and said, we've planned for the window, we know what we want to do, we're going to execute. In his mind, it was, we're going to get Cunha, we're going to get Delap, and then we're going to get sales done quicker than we thought they have had so far, and then we're going to go and sign some extra players. That went out the window completely as soon as Delap rejected us. That went out the window. They changed targets. The players ain't going to be getting sold. So I don't think taking Barada's quote like that is the right way to look at it. I look at it more like this: you've been planning for the window. Your first plan's gone is gone awry. It doesn't work. I'm now upset that your second plan hasn't been thought out enough. Clearly, they've clearly done it at like a snap of the fingers. All right, we're gonna do quick. Let's just change the direction, and they haven't really fully decided how to go about it. That's what it looks like.
And you know where the imbalance is, KJ?
Yeah.
And this is where Dan Ashworth would have been helpful, is that Dan Ashworth has the experience. I'm not saying he should have stayed or anything, but I think Jason Wilcox was still an understudy in that sense. Like, he knows how to identify talent, but planning a window out is not something he would do. Right? Someone like Dan Ashworth knows the ins and outs of the market very well. And I don't know if we have someone like that at the club right now.
Yeah, it's a really fair point. And this is the thing with the transfer window. I remember last week, by the way, we're live at 7 p.m. for the Top 6 show, back with the We Are Tottenham TV boys, everybody. We did that show last week. And on the way to the show, the Tottenham boy, the day before we were planning the show, the Tottenham boys are fuming, they'd done no business. By the end of that show, they had 2 here we goes. Suddenly, they were like, Levy's a god, give him a statue. Things can change very quickly, which is why I typically don't make overarching statements. And let's wait and see for a few more weeks. We could be angrier. We could be sitting here in a couple of weeks with a new goalkeeper, a new midfielder, and going, actually, this summer's turning out quite nicely. Plus, we haven't seen how we look in preseason. If we're actually moving the ball quite well and playing well, everyone will calm down a little bit. That being said, we've got to get a wiggle on. Baz, thanks for calling in, mate. Appreciate it loads, mate. Thank you.
Take care.
Cheers, brother. Thank you. Aiden is on with us now. What are you saying, Aiden?
Yeah, can you not hear me? Good.
Perfect, brother.
All right. I was on earlier talking about Mbeumo deal coming through, and obviously it's happened. But a lot of people I've seen already on social media, there's been outlets saying 80 million euros, using the euros thing as a putting us like we're paying over top. We're Man United. We're going to be seen as doing that, but as long as we know it's a 65 million set fee. I heard Ben Jacobs say on the United stand saying that 5 million apparently the add-ons is unrealistic or whatever. Possibly we'll have to find out what happens with the 5 million add-ons. But I think overall, 7 weeks doing this deal, like you said earlier on, Terry, I don't think the time part is good. But I'm just happy it's over the line and we can move on forward in the window.
You make a great point there. What I will say about the price, even though I hold it important, not because of the connection to the player, but because of my own personal valuation, I look at the money we don't have, actually, and making sure we don't burn through cash. I hate this notion of it's not my money, I don't care. I think it's the most redundant opinion football fans can have in terms of transfers. If he comes in and scores and delivers, his price tag will never be discussed again. Bruno at 57 million has never been discussed again. As an example, Van Dijk at 75 million never got touched on again. If a player delivers, the price tag is irrelevant. In fact, if he comes in and does really well for us, because he will be on the preseason tour if this bid is accepted, and more sources are now saying it's expected to be, if he has a really good start to the season for us, even though I want negotiations to be quicker, everybody will forget it took 7 weeks to bring him in. The most important part is he the right player? And I don't think we should get pulled away. And as United fans, you're right. We will be lied to by the media about the costs. That all the, there'll be a report later that's going to say he's on that 900 grand a week. All of that is to come. You all know that is about to come on this deal. But how happy are you with the player, Aiden? I know it isn't fully gone through yet, but are you still excited about the prospect of him being a Man United player?
Yeah, as you saw what he did at Brentford, in superior team to United last season, but overall I wouldn't say a superior team with like the pressure and stuff. We'll have to see how he does at United under pressure, and how, because we're on a low from last season, the expectations will be probably lower from what it would normally be at United. But Mbeumo, 20 goals in the league last season, which will very much help us, because I don't even know how our top scorer was last season. I think Bruno on like 10 or something. So
yeah, something like that.
20 goals coming into that front line, and just the creativity where we don't have to rely as much on Bruno, Ahmad getting us through games. We'll have Cunha and Mbeumo who can bring up the creativity spark. But yeah, I think Mbeumo will be a great player for United.
I hear you on that. Aiden, mate, thanks for calling in, bro. I appreciate it a lot.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers. Thank you. Kane is on with us now. Kane is a Newcastle fan, right?
Yes, bud. Yes.
Lovely. Are you here? Is this another one of the players you got rejected for? What are you here to say?
No, I'm just well.
Why did you want? Sorry.
No, that's all good. I mean, I've got a little wine of. I mean, I remember the first time I came on, KJ asked me a question, and I would like to return the question to you. Then, would you say Man United's deal to Cunha has ruined Man United's transfer window? Because what was slandered at us for saying, "Oh well, we're upping the price," is now somewhat kind of bit you in the arse. Now, don't get me wrong, Mbeumo, great deal if it gets done. I think he'd fit in the team really well. I think the biggest thing for you for Mbeumo is Premier League proven and a hard worker, which I think was lacking drastically from your team last season.
Yeah, that's a good question. To be fair, I think the Cunha deal obviously is gonna have effects in the window, right? My main thing has always been, it's not just one transfer per window that sets a market. It's history of, you can go back a season before and then the season before that, why certain players at certain price. So yeah, we paid the Cunha deal, so Brentford were expecting a similar fee. So I'm not really surprised at that, to be fair. I'm just like, for me, it's just one of those ones where I think Cunha and Mbeumo are a similar level. So as a United fan, I'd always want a similar price. But Brentford are the ones who have the players, so they're going to try and get as much as they can.
Yeah. Well, it is a similar price, though. One was 62.5 million, 165 million. So there's a 2.5 million difference.
Yeah. But I mean, like, you couldn't get him any cheaper because Brentford were holding out for the similar price as what you paid for.
There is that, Kane. I think on top, just to give my very quick answer on this, I don't think it's helped that you paid, players that are not as good, like Noni and Mbeumo and Kudus, have all been going for 55 millions. Mm-hmm. I do understand from Brentford's point of view, they're going to look at that and say, this is a 20 goal a season player last year. Yeah. He's worth more money. And I think that has probably played a part in it as well. So yeah, it's gutting. Again, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I wish we got him for the 55 odd million we wanted to pay, because then we'd have more money left over. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm not frustrated by that. So yeah, 100%.
I mean, the question was in tongue in cheek anyway.
I know.
Yeah, it's all good. Like it was more just a bit of banter, but no, yeah. I mean, in terms of my club, obviously, as I spoke to you the other day, I feel like it kind of played out the way I thought it would. We had a chance at Ekatike. He said, I think he would have been open to it until Liverpool said we're in for you, and in which case it makes sense. Like, there was only ever going to be one winner between us and like a second rotation at Newcastle or first team at Liverpool. It makes sense he would go to Liverpool. I think anyone saying anything otherwise would be a bit delusional. But we move on. Like you said, we've been rejected a few times. I'm not really that bothered. I'm much the same as you, Terry, where I don't care that we get rejected by people. There's plenty of other strikers out there for us to get. Obviously, Johan Visser is now the talking point, which obviously has an impact on this Mbeumo deal. A little inkling in me feels like Brentford may be looking at that situation and maybe feel like they might hold out a little bit, because between Visser and Cunha, Visser and Mbeumo, I get the feeling Brentford would rather lose Visser. Obviously, they'd get more money for Mbeumo, but in terms of pure talent,
I still think I think you or Spurs have still got a chance of Visser. It will just now be a slightly more expensive deal. I just think they'll turn around and add 10-15% to the valuation, because again, he becomes a more finite commodity. One, there's less strikers left in the market. There's less attackers left in the market, and things things become more expensive. I mean, there is also the listen. I want to help Newcastle out here. Listen, we'll do a deal. We'll do a deal with you. All right, we'll do a deal here. 100 million all in, right?
I'm listening.
Rashford, Garnacho, and we'll throw in Malacia. You can you can use him for whatever you want, right? But we'll throw that in 100 million. The club will accept it. You're a Champions League team. Go for it.
Or if you want a cheaper deal, 40 million for Højlund. Just take him. There you go. Like a replacement right there.
Well, no, we'll do it better. We'll do 130 million for all of them.
Yes, look at that. What a deal.
That's interesting. I mean, the problem with that is we have 4 wingers, both left and right. So Rashford and Garnacho, I don't really see it, unfortunately. Do you know what it is? Højlund, I think Højlund in our team, without the pressure of being the main man, I think would probably do better at Newcastle than he would at Man United.
I agree. So, I don't think he's as bad. He has been bad, but I don't think he is as bad as people are making him out to be. I think there is a better player in there than his former suggested. But Kane, listen, mate, thank you for calling in, brother, and we'll chat to you again soon. Dan is on the show with us next. Hello, Dan. Welcome to the show. Oh, sorry, I clicked on the wrong person. I clicked on Rizzo by mistake. Razza's here. What are you saying?
Hello?
Razza's not talking, so we're going to go to Dan. What are you saying, Dan? That is a jacket, bruv. That is a jacket.
As you can see, I'm still celebrating the Club World Cup.
I like it. What are you here to say, my friend?
I'm just here to say 2 things. First of all, about Mbeumo, and second of all, a short speech after our win.
Oh, yes. Your speech was what did it, my friend. That speech was rousing. That's why your team smashed PSG.
Yeah. So in regards to Mbeumo, I see you guys already paid the 17 million for him and everything. Hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
Oh, I thought I was already given the speech.
Oh, no, that was it.
Okay, that's it. Okay, listen, bro. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Wait.
Oh, you got a speech. Sorry. So I thought you said was the speech. My apologies, bro. Come on.
Nah. Okay. So in regards to the Club World Cup, a lot of people doubted us. A lot of people didn't believe in us, man. I saw people saying that they'll spell Chelsea's name front and back. But it was 3-0. And I also want to apologize to Sanchez, man. I doubted him. I didn't believe in him. But my man turned into prime Peter Cech that day. And our defense was just so awesome. Reece James, Kukurea, our center backs, impeccable. And Cole Palmer, as usual, delivered. I want to see those Arsenal and United fans that are always saying that Palmer doesn't show up in big games. What do they guys say now? And also, Joao Pedro, just awesome. And in case for some reason this Mbeumo deal doesn't work out, you guys need to remember that you're still going for Jackson, so you can fill that role for y'all.
Listen, Dan, on that note, you can leave. I'll speak to you later. We've got James on the show as next. What are you saying, James?
Right, I listened to Mark Goldbridge and you, right? And I do think Glazers need to go completely because they're always never putting money in and it's always dividends all the time. And Mbeumo is been one of Premier League's probably best players with Cunha last season. And Man U need that. And Man U should have gone all in for Gyökeres and got Amrin, striker that Amrin wanted in first place, instead of letting him down when they hadn't.
Yeah,
So-
look, we've struggled to get those strikers in. There's no doubt about it, and obviously struggled to get this deal over the line. Hopefully, we get there soon. What's the next position, James, that you would like to see Man United try to fix this summer?
Striker. I'll tell you who I'd go for. Crystal Palace's striker.
Mateta. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Very good player.
Because he's proved it and that he can store goals.
Yeah.
So I'd probably take a gamble on him.
Yep, I
for
hear you,
a
mate.
year or
It'd be a very good gamble. He would. James, I appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you, mate. We've got Sarath on the show with us next. How you doing, mate?
Hi, Terry and Keche.
We have Bryan Mbeumo with us.
How you doing? How you doing, brother? How you doing?
The Asian Bryan Mbeumo. What I want to say is that, Terry, when a few weeks back on your show, you told about that as the delay goes on and goes on, you will criticize the Glazers as well as the Ineos regarding obviously the deal. Why are they keep delaying? Are the Goldbridge told another version of this delay, saying that it is all due to deferring the wages as long as possible. Because we haven't moved on Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, Malacia, all these high-earning players, we haven't moved on. So adding an Mbeumo who is going to be a 150 or a 175 a week will only lengthen the wage structure. But actually, what I think is that we only had a £120 million transfer budget before we sold anyone at the start of the summer window. And we bought Cunha for 62.5. So the maximum we could put forward to Brentford before selling anyone was that £55 million upfront. We couldn't go above that unless and until we sell anyone. I think this 10 million.
And we've just raised money from all those sell-ons. So maybe
that was I'm coming to.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
That 10 or 13 million pounds that we have just received from Maxi Oidel, Anthony Elanga, and Alvaro Carreras has just given us that fund to go that extra mile and put what Brentford needed. That's what I think has actually happened, and that is what has taken this delay of 7 weeks.
That could listen. I mean, that's just highly logical. Highly logical. Makes a lot of sense. And as much as that will frustrate Manchester United fans, if it literally is because we didn't have any more money, there's only a certain limit you can complain about that. I mean, some will say put more money in. They can't right now. It's about being prudent, bro. Really good point. Thank you for calling in and having your say. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We're scoring some goals next season. Let's go.
Asian number more.
Cheers, bro. Thank you. Frederick is with us now. What are you saying, mate?
You are on mute, my friend.
You're on mute, my friend.
Yeah. I know. Sorry, boys. Hello. I'm a United fan, but I have something I want to talk about.
Okay, go. Cool.
I think we should keep Højlund, let him be, and let him cook with Mbeumo and Cunha. I think he will cook.
You're from Denmark, aren't you?
No, I'm from Sweden.
Same thing, right? Isn't it?
Oh no! Don't do that.
You Scandinavians all stay together. I know what you're like. I'm joking.
No, yeah, but that's my take. What do you think?
Okay. So the idea of Højlund staying and learning, staying and improving is nicer than the reality, in my opinion. I get where you're coming from, especially with the striker market we have right now. It's not the easiest out there. Ekitike is gone, Osimhen's gone, Gyökeres is gone. And the list of strikers that you're looking at are getting further and further down the pecking order of what you want. So would it be wise to go spend 40 to 50 million on striking now when you've got a Hoyland, a Xerxes, a Chidobe that all could improve with better players around them. So I get the sentiment, but I don't know, just the reality of what we saw. I don't know. Maybe I think he's mentally gone. I think it's more about his mentality and how his confidence and how he feels than it is necessarily what he can do on a football pitch and his talent. I think that's gone. But hey, saying preseason, he looks amazing. I'll be happy to be proven wrong and give it a chance. I don't. Not for me, no. Not for me.
I'm in the same mind space as KJ. I think I don't think he's as bad a football player as we saw last season. I'm not saying he's world class, but there's definitely levels he can go up if he finds his confidence. Now, if he has preseason and that confidence returns, and we do sign a striker and he stays and he's playing with a good, the confidence we saw in that first 6 months at the club, and then that good run of goal, even though he wasn't scoring in that first period, his touch was decent. He would bring people into play. He looked a much better player, and I don't think that's deniable by anybody with an ounce of integrity. I'm just not personally sure if he can get himself back to that level at Man United. That being said, it's going to be very difficult to sell him. We've got to raise £55 million to not lose money on him in this year's financials, and we know how tight the money is. So this is why I've said for ages, it doesn't matter who the manager is. It's going to take 3 to 4 years to fix us, because we're not going to be able to we can't just sacrifice a player here or there. Like, especially you can't sacrifice that amount of money. Inter Milan fans were telling me yesterday that their club only offered £10 million for him. And yet United fans are angry that we didn't accept it. So we can't afford to lose £45 million on a player. It's absolutely crazy. Frederick, thank you for calling in, mate. I appreciate it massively, brother.
It's got a counter for us, slam counter.
Oh, counter. Sorry. My apologies. Go on.
No, that's okay. No, but I think he will actually do well. But yeah, I was just thinking about that. But I can leave here and I can talk to you later.
I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. Top man. I'll speak to you again soon. Thank you, Frederick. Thank you. Look, I've got a few super chats to do here that I want to go through. First one says, reports on X and Brentford looking for 70 million fixed. Who are those reports from? Because I've seen nothing. The Telegraph. And so go on.
I think maybe it's about the initial fee that they started with, and then we've got it down. Maybe it's about that. Because I don't see anything on the timeline saying they want 70 million fixed.
Yeah, I haven't read that either myself. But if it comes out, we'll react to it. Let's be real about this. We only bid this because Newcastle were after Vissa. If that didn't happen, we would drag our feet like before. We were in no position from the start to make power moves. So Josh, I want to make sure. Thank you for this. You're saying we should have just bid 65 plus 5 day one. That's what we should have done in your view. Just want to make sure I'm understanding you fully, if that's what you're suggesting. But thank you for the super chat, bro. Just putting it out there. I hear everything you've said. I want to make sure that's what you mean. Brentford have been stretching it out to scout for players with the idea of the money will give them.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably part of that. Hey, Terry, I'm listening whilst writing my master's dissertation on
EDI
in the workplace. Now, I don't know what EDI means. And what's EDI meaning in business and work? See, that comes up with electronic data exchange, meaning at work. Oh, the equity, diversity, and inclusion. Okay.
That's funny. I've never heard it in an initial before. So just three.
I have is in DEI is what I thought it was. I thought the D came first, so it threw me. In DEI, it then goes on to say, 1, I love your content and show. Thank you, Harry. 2, if anyone works in HR and is okay to be interviewed, please let me know.
Well, I do technically for the first.
They're talking to him. No. But there we go. Anyone wants to reach out to Harry in the chat who works in HR that fancies being interviewed to help with his dissertation and his career, please reach out to him. Get that done. Glad we could help. Look, I want to thank everyone who's tuned in. Look, we're going to be back live at 7 p.m. UK time. This is going to redirect you to that show. It's Top 6. Me, Hugh Wizzy, Henry Wright. We are Tottenham TV. We're in their studio. We're playing darts. I think I'm throwing the old arrows tonight, which should be fun. But we're going to be live tonight. Hopefully we'll get the Mbeumo bomber at that point. But until next time, my people, look after yourselves. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Peace.